So you have to think about hands-on activities. I've lost my page. Hands-on activities, real life stuff. Instead of getting a photocopy of a bus timetable, get a real bus timetable from their area. Hey, so what is learning?
Acquiring of knowledge.
Yeah? What else?
Being open. Comprehending.
Yeah. Good.
Application.
Practical use of the knowledge.
Yeah. What was that other one? Up there?
Practical use of knowledge.
No, I got that.
The one before.
Ah, I forgot.
No, somebody else said something.
Yeah, I forgot it.
I said application.
Application.
Yeah, that's what she was asking.
Same thing. Okay. I was thinking about it. Is it playing with your brain? Learning. It is. It's putting something else in there, so it is playing with your brain a bit. So it all depends how receptive you are to getting your brain played with. I mean, this could lead to bad stuff too, you know. Trying to affect change. You're changing yourself or changing others. Especially with, like, dealing with awkward people, you're trying to affect change in others. So you learn how to do that. Another one is just recall. Oh, I remember doing that when I was in grade 2. That sort of stuff. Like long division. Do you call it long division?
Yeah.
When you did that in grade 7, and they said you'd use it every day of your life. They told me a lie. Confirmation of what you already know. A lot of this will be confirmation of what you already know. A lot of it will be recall because you think, oh, I haven't done that. I remember how I was taught how to do that and I haven't done it.
Prior knowledge.
Yeah, prior knowledge. Real learning usually makes you feel really uncomfortable because you're trying to go from what you know and fit in what you're learning into those little slots, and sometimes it doesn't work. And then you realise, oh gosh, I have to go back and learn how to do this before I can learn how to do that. Retention studies. And I'm sure this is from Glasser.
Yes, I am.
It is indeed. William Glasser.
Yeah.
He said, you remember 10% of what you read, 20% of what you hear, 30% of what you see, 50% of what you see and hear, 70% of what you talk about, discuss with others, 80% of what you actually do, and the big one, which is what you're doing, 95% of what you teach others.
Yeah.
So you're learning yourself, not just teaching others. Okay. So I'm looking at the ideal lesson. If you're thinking about the pragmatist, the reflector, it's 4 quadrants of a square, you know, pragmatist, reflector. So if you're thinking about an ideal lesson, and I know even as a tutor, I have an idea of what I want, and it only takes 5 seconds, or no, it doesn't take, it takes about a minute, just to get an idea of what you want to accomplish in that session with your learner. So you've got to have, why are we doing this? But be able to explain it. And what are the facts? When you're covering your theorist. Then practice the skill. There's your activist. And then context transfer. How am I going to use this knowledge for what I want to do? Why I came here. Oh, I just like this quote. The greatest fear is fear itself. Mm-hmm. That was Franklin D. Roosevelt. Mm-hmm. Okay, I'm going to go straight into tutoring fundamentals because I am aware of the time. Okay, let's just say somebody walks in the door. You begin. And I was really fearful of trying to teach you how to suck eggs. Trying to preach to the choir. No.
Yeah,
Preach to the choir. Lynch had told me that one. So I'll go through this quite quickly. Begin with introducing yourself. G'day, I'm Fred. Ask about the learner's work, their life, their interest. Now, this can be the first session, and it doesn't matter if you don't get anything else accomplished except filling out your form of personal details. Continue the conversation to establish a rapport. Don't just go, oh yeah, well that's nice, yep, right, good. Ask about the reason for attending. Now I put there, take notes if it's appropriate, because sometimes as I'm getting older, my memory fails, and so I've got Fred, and then I take some notes about personal details. And I'm the only one who ever sees it. What areas would they like to start in? Some people say, I want to be able to, not tax, forgot the word, isn't it? Great.
Keyboard?
I can do tax. I want to be able to work out my tax. And I want to do it in 1 hour and 5 minutes. And that's not realistic, is it? But, so you think about that, okay, they might want to have a look at a bit of literacy. Oh, numeracy, sorry. They might want to start on that. You have to think on your feet. Now, what are their ideas about reading? What do they like to read? I just put down some. See? I like to read the obituaries to see if I'm still in there. If I'm not in there, I'm happy.
Wow.
What kind of reading do you not like? Sports pages is my yuck. Yuck. Who cares? What kinds of materials would you like to read that you're not reading now? I want to be able to read the Financial Times. Okay, we'll get there. How were you taught to read? Now, I know kids that were taught to read by dad standing next to them, and this happened in a family that I know, and you get your grade 2 reader out, you know, when you're a little tyke like this, you get your grade 2 reader out, and every time he made a mistake, he'd go over the head with a stick, just a little stick, but you got it wrong. So you need to know that sort of stuff. When you are reading and come to something you don't know, what do you do? Because, like I said, they're very knowledgeable, very good problem solvers. They might ask somebody else. They might have a look in a dictionary. Who do you know that is a good reader, and what makes them good? That'll give you an idea of what they really respect as a reader, because I mean, I might think a good reader is somebody who can make sense of, you know, physics books. And what makes them good is that they can read quickly, this is an example, skim through the reading and come to a conclusion at the end of the page. And then be able to recall and say what they've just read. Making sense. So there's a whole heap of skills there. They'll give you an idea of what you'll be looking at to teach them. What kinds of writing, same sort of thing. Notes to the teacher. They're a big one where I come from. If they can't, they can't converse with the teacher, they feel, their kids are at school and they feel below the teacher, they can't, interact with the teacher. When it comes to teacher's night, when you have to go up and hear a report about your child, they're absolutely intimidated. But that writing a note to the teacher is the beginning of a rapport with the teacher. Run into problems writing things down. What kind of problems? Who's a good writer and what makes them a good writer? Is it the cursive writing is good? Is it that they're quick? And you go through their past learning experiences. What memories do you have of school? And most of them are pretty poor memories. When did you leave? How do you think you learn best? Have you attended any other adult upgrading or literacy programs? How were they? What did you like? What didn't you like? So you don't make the same mistakes. And you ask about concerns about this program, and that's that fear of fear itself. Too scared to come in the first place, this program. Are you going to tell everybody when you go to church on Sunday? That sort of stuff. What do you want to get out of this program? And other concerns. Now this, I've spoken to quite a number of teachers and tutors, and because some teachers, I haven't found it with tutors that much, but some teachers think that they know everything about everybody and their particular situations. They don't listen attentively. They look like they're listening, but what they're really thinking of is the rest of the sentence in their head. So you've got to concentrate to make sure you don't finish somebody else's sentence. Oh. And when the person's finished, say, rephrase. Oh, so what you were saying is blah, blah, blah. And they can say, no, you've got it wrong. So make sure you get it right. If you don't understand something, ask, what do you mean? Summarise, reflect back the main points of the message. Think about what's been said and what hasn't been said. What did they not say? And this is a big one. Ask to learn about their culture. Do they have a different meal structure? I mean, you could include that in some dietary planning, in your literacy sessions. Time. Do they have a different time schedule? In Australia, many of the Aboriginals work on Murray time, which is when they feel the need to do something, they'll do it. But if they don't feel the need, they have other activities that they wish to accomplish, they forget about you and do that. We'll get on to naming. We have our first name is the first name. Some cultures have their first name last and their family name first. That's what I mean by naming. What sort of passions they have, what do they do on the holidays, what sort of taboos are there? Taboos, I mean, I can't go into a house in some cultures and speak to the male because he's the head of the household, he doesn't speak to females. So you've got to know what sort of taboos there are. So go from the known to the unknown. I've put a job application form. Gauge what the learner knows about what a form is for, to start with, and maybe a generic structure for a form, what goes where, even if they don't know the words, perhaps the beginning of the word they might, N for name, C, Christian name, maybe they could work that out. So you go from what they know. If they only know that bit, well then you have to expand a bit further. And what the purpose of the form is. A lot of people tick forms or sign forms and they think the purpose is this, but it's not really. So you have to do the critical thinking and impart that critical thinking to them. Oh, I highlight, this is a thing for me, I highlight headings and subheadings on the form. If it said personal information, I'll highlight that and then name, age, date of birth, that sort of stuff. I'm sure you all do that. This is the ropes model. If you're going to go, even if it's only a five-minute session, you go through, review what they already know about this particular thing, whether it's filling in a form or whatever. Overview. And you do this same sort of thing with reading a book, teaching somebody to read. But I'll go into that a bit further. Overview. What it's for, whatever. Your presentation, here it is. Look at it. It's got this section here, this one's in blue, that one's in green. You actually do it, exercise, and then have a summary. What did we just go through? We went through this section, we went through that section. I had to read this section, I didn't know this word, so I had to look